Alpha Podrants.
Strength is irrelevant. Resistance is futile. Freedom is irrelevant. Self-determination is irrelevant. You must comply. Signature detected. Prepare for assimilation. Relevant technology. Engage tractor pulse.
Borg. Sounds Swedish.
Can you hear?
The Borg is the ultimate user. They're unlike any threat your Federation has ever faced. They're not interested in political conquest, wealth, or power as you know it. They're simply interested in your ship, its technology. They've identified it as something they can consume.
I am Locutus. On board.
Death is irrelevant.
Death is irrelevant. Death is irrelevant.
And he piled upon the whale's white helm the sum of all the rage and hate felt by his whole race. If his chest had been a cannon, he would have shot his heart upon it.
Resistance is futile. Your life, as it has been, is over. From this time forward, you will service us.
Borg.
Doing service for
Swedish.
wieners. What do you think this is? Night Creeps or something? I'm calling a copyright lawyer. You can't steal from your own other product.
You know, that last thing at the end of that where she says Borg, that sounds Swedish. Oh man, that was perfect.
Borg, you betcha.
Yep.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi.
A belated happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
What do you mean stealing from other property? Oh, look at his shirt, guys.
Look at that.
What the hell is
Nerd.
Do you?
Super nerd.
Do you?
Look at that.
I just made
Well, we
it
found
right
that out
before
in the quiz, right?
I was
he
like,
won the
this
quiz,
shirt
so he's
looks a nice Star Trek color, I said. So I needed a badge.
In case they have to beam him out, they can key in on his badge.
Why in Star Trek Discovery, and don't give me Klingons as a reason, or do if that's what you think the reason is.
Klingons.
Meaning just shitty change of canon and failure.
God.
Why in Discovery when it starts? Because that's what we did. I finished Enterprise. Tell you about that later. But
the ruination has completed.
No, we'll talk later. But the point is, I thought the next logical step seems to be what they did next, what the franchise did next. It's the only thing that felt right after Enterprise. So we went to Discovery, and immediately they're transporting around with personal transporters, like from the bridge to sick bay and this and that.
Oh, site-to-site transfer is to call it.
Is this an inaccuracy or what? It's been bothering me for days. Besides the Klingons,
I thought site-to-site transfer has been around for a while, but I could be
you
wrong.
mean in the early season of Discovery?
right away. Right, I think episode 1.
Like personal transporters. I know later on in Discovery. Really?
Like when they go to the future.
I don't.
But I'm telling you, it's in
in Discovery.
away.
Yeah, when they go to the future, they have
in Discovery
a transporter, and they have that heads-up display that comes around them and stuff.
Yeah, in Discovery, personal transporters don't show up until season 3, but in the earlier seasons of Discovery, I think site-to-site transport technology is there, but it's not on a personal level. Like an individual person can do it on a dime. I think it still has to be done from the transport area.
Well, yes,
Right.
they did seem to be calling in and going, transport to the sick bay. Well, yeah, I guess they could do that because they could transport from any planet, right?
Yeah, from a planet surface. All they need is either a bio sign or the comm badge.
But it's just not something that's commonly done at the time,
Now,
right?
what they
it
might be
wasn't done that
doing,
much.
what they might be doing is taking the signal, bringing it, sending it to the transporter area, and then sending it out again. Like not taking it from here, sending it there, but drawing it in, and then sending it back out.
Yeah, but in season 3 of
Which would take a little bit
Discovery,
longer, especially back then.
in season 3 of Discovery, that is when we find out that they're able to transport wherever they want to go, right, just by pressing a little button on the comm badge, and they
Right,
can just do
right.
it
Without-
themselves.
Yeah, but how do they get it off?
Yeah, they don't need to use a transport command center or whatever. They don't need to. At least
So I
in
could just
season
press this
3.
button and zoom out of this filterless production where you can see all my terrible post-Thanksgiving fat.
Yeah, that's
That's
ow,
how
my
you wanna
ears.
roll
Ow,
on shore.
ow.
Yeah.
You know, my other theory as to why Discovery seems to be using it so much. They're a science ship. That's also why they look so goddamn fancy, because
Could be.
they're they get the top of the line tech at the time,
Yeah.
going out there and doing science stuff.
Well, I mean, the science vessels do have to be more advanced because
You'd think.
Probably.
they're science vessels. They have to be able to do sciencey things.
Right. Voyager was a science a vessel and had the biogel packs. It was the first one to have the biogel packs.
Yeah.
This
Right
is
on
the
the
set,
cutting edge.
Richard Kish. This is the coffee set.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful. Looks Star Trekky too, right? Like
Ruby red cups. That's
What's-
gorgeous.
Oh, Janeway loves coffee. She really loves coffee, Janeway.
Yeah.
Oh
And-
yeah. Like what is it like? Picard like tea Earl Grey hot.
Earl Grey. Hot.
Yeah. And then Janeway
Beautiful.
liked coffee.
Yeah,
I-
Janeway like black coffee too.
Yeah. What was Cisco's preferred drink? I don't remember.
Whiskey.
Scotch.
Like a man.
It was Scotch. Okay.
Like a
yeah.
man.
Raktichenko?
No. That was Jadzia's favorite.
That was
drink.
Jadzia.
Yeah, that was Jadzia's favorite drink.
Is that the American Idol? But I digress.
Okay,
I
and-
bring these up to
Yeah.
tell you a horrible story today. I bought this antique glassware, gorgeous, beautiful
Okay.
glassware, a whole set, a whole coffee set, milk set, pictures and everything, and lo and behold,
Picard likes
I-
antiques.
I did a stupid thing. I had them all because we used them. I had them all and a pot in the sink, and I wanted to mop my floor, but I also needed to do the dishes. So I moved all the dishes onto the counter next to the sink, right next to the sink, thinking I'll mop the floor. And then I said, "Oh, you're stupid.
Okay.
The floor's going to get wet while you do dishes. So just mop the floor later. Mop it after the dishes." So I go and I move the pot to go back into the sink, and the lid of the pot was behind it, and it just went the entire set, but this one little piece has been destroyed.
So now that one cup and saucer is worth a lot of money.
I'm devastated.
There you
I'm so devastated that I'm taking your time to talk about it. I need to process
Oh,
it.
all right.
2 days we had with it. 2
Well,
days.
the red shirts used to die, and now the red coffee
That's
pot.
fine.
Yeah, see, it's Star Trekky.
It's Star Trek.
Okay, now can I take a moment to ask
My nipple's
everyone
over here.
to take a look
Thanksgiving.
at my avatar and name?
O'Brien on hard times. So whose cock is he sucking?
Oh, hard times.
No. Rich found that picture.
No,
for
that's
him.
when he was ready to blow his own head off right there.
No worries.
Yeah.
That was after being
his
in a
ordeal in
mental
the
prison
prison.
for.
20 years?
Yeah,
He
he
was
thought
there
he-
for 20 years.
It made him think like he was in prison for 20 years,
I heard you.
and he was ready to blow his head off after he came back to reality because he couldn't handle it.
Yep. I think what caused him to like go to that point is that he was dealing with like the memories of being in that mental prison,
Yeah.
and his daughter, I can't remember his daughter's name, but she tried to run up to her father, to Miles, to get a hug from him or something, and he snapped at her. And he had never done that before, and he scared her. And Keiko had like yelled at Miles, saying like, "You can't do that." And Miles quickly realized what he had done, and he just ran. He like got the fuck out of there, and he like ran into the cargo bay, and he like Keiko like basically mentioned this to Bashir or something, and he was in the cargo bay and he was contemplating killing himself because he just couldn't do this to his family.
Because he yelled at poor Molly.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. His daughter's name is Molly. And Bashir showed up
Molly,
and was trying to talk Miles down, try to prevent him from doing something that he can't walk away from. And yeah, it's just like overall, it was a great episode.
That was a great episode.
I could consider it to be one of Deep Space Nine's best episodes.
I look forward to journeying into Deep Space Nine soon, and I'm proud of my skill I've developed to tune you guys out. Because
Yeah.
after what happened with Trip, and you guys telling me that he dies in the finale, I mean,
Well, I didn't tell you he died. I alluded to other shit, but I didn't say that.
No, I think Charles Whedon did that. You did the baby. You and Whedon together did the baby. But look, you didn't spoil anything good about the baby.
But that last episode didn't bother you at all. The episode
Okay.
with Riker, what a
all
piece
that
of shit.
bothered me about it. No, well, number one interesting fact: Riker was
Last
actually
episode of
playing
Enterprise.
Kirk.
Okay.
The galley chef was actually a descendant, planned to be, by the writers, a descendant of Kirk
Really?
aboard, not a descendant, an ancestor of Kirk aboard Enterprise NX-01.
Oh.
And he was their confidant. They tried to get Kirk in, but he ended up pitching an episode. Instead, he said, well, instead of having me be this character, that's a fail on his part, he pitched a mirror universe episode that would have seen his evil self from the original series had been not disintegrated, but transported to a prison planet type situation. And he had taken it over, and now he's called Tiberius, etc. They used elements for In a Mirror Darkly, but that would have been the reveal that it was Kirk. So you probably would have got that in the finale, played by William Shatner, but instead it was Riker, and I like to imagine him stepping into the body of William Shatner for those scenes.
So Will Riker was inside James
Yes.
T. Kirk.
Will Riker was inside William Shatner.
Wow.
Yes.
That's, probably more than I needed to know.
No, Mr. Richard Kish. It didn't bother me because it was an epilogue. The finale was Terra Prime. The finale was Terra Prime, the penultimate episode.
Right.
This was 8 years later. It told the last voyage of the Enterprise.
Right.
And it gave us a fictionalized version of it, even a holodeck version.
Yeah, it was.
So it's a way to close it up in a neat way, I thought. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, except for the reasons behind Trip's death were stupid.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. But were they drunk?
Look, I will go ahead and say that I still am bitter about them not tying up that mirror universe storyline.
What is there to tie up?
I wanted to
Salto became the Empress. That's all there is to tie up. And then it is clarified. Listen, see, to your talk of loose threads,
and that's why
it is impossible.
The
I'm
other
sorry,
Empress
Luke.
is
Well, yes. Again, that's where I was going to get to. But it's impossible to leave a loose thread in Star Trek Enterprise because it opens all the threads for what is to come. So there are no loose threads. There are just stories out there to be told or to be inferred, like the Empress being Georgiou in the Mirror Universe.
So you're saying that Philippa Georgiou from the Mirror Universe is a descendant of Hoshi?
Potentially. Here's a Hoshi fun fact. Hoshi died at age 117. This information is gleaned in A Mirror Darkly, along with a lot of other information about the fate of the actual Prime Universe characters. But they're revealed on screens. You'd have to pause. And this is before even screenshots were that easy. So it was something you had to be super eagle-eyed for. And in one of these, they showed Hoshi's death. And she was 115. She was on a planet that was, I think it was called the King's Conscious from the original series. And the planet is essentially where the Avengers got their whole Thanos snap thing from, where this guy had to kill half of his civilization so the other half could survive. One half killed Hoshi Sato. The other half was 13-year-old James T. Kirk, who lived on. So that was pretty interesting.
Wow.
Huh.
I'm so proud of my morning poops when I find out these things.
We got a few places we can go here.
You're very.
All right. So speaking of, you're very what? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you're very productive during your
bird?
downtime there, Jim.
Yeah. Down. It's going down.
Literally
So,
downtime.
Right. We mentioned talking about people in their descendants
I made the
or
biggest
their
Thanksgiving poop.
ancestors,
I'm so
whatever.
sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Everyone takes a big poop at Thanksgiving.
So the girl that that says Borg sounds Swedish. Do you remember what her name is?
Borg.
In the movie, Lily
From First Contact there?
Yeah, it's Lily.
Never seen it, but that's just a Swedish chef joke, I'd assume.
Lily.
Borg.
And so I was looking it up.
Oh, what's her name?
Lily
I can't
Sloan.
remember I can't remember the actress's name, but it's the character's name is Lily. It's not spelled the same way.
And Luther Sloan. I know. I just realized that. But would it be? Now, I'm wondering if... Now, because Lily Sloan saw the Borg, and she saw some scary stuff compared to any other human, she's seen the scariest. So maybe she helped to develop Section 31. Perhaps the name Sloan is not a name at all. It's a designation.
Oh,
and she could have been the first person to start Section 31. But we'll find that out in the movie, which is now going to be back in production, right? Because
and by the way, that was Alfred Woodward.
The strikes are over.
Well, let me say this. Section 31, they alluded in Enterprise, had just recently begun. And it wasn't even called Section 31 at the time of Enterprise. And I'm glad you guys didn't spoil this much. Because I never even told the woman that I knew Trip died in the end the whole time.
Aww.
It was hard not to say anything, but
also,
not really
what's his name? Malcolm had something to do with that too, right?
Right, Reed. I'm glad you guys didn't spoil that. Reed was an early member of Section 31. He quit, but at that point they were only referring to like articles or Section 31 of a certain document that allowed their existence. So it's not, I don't believe the organization was called Section 31 at that point. So it was just in its infancy then.
Yeah. I think Deep Space Nine is your next best bet at this point, is if you want something that's intriguing. And once you get through the first season, you really get synced in and you get hooked on it. But even the first season is not bad. A lot of shows' first seasons are kind of give and take. Next Generation took 3 for me, at least.
Arguably.
Yeah, it was 3 seasons before it kind of set in. Voyager,
half a season for Charles Whedon to give up.
Really?
Half a season?
Yeah. How much Star Trek did you watch of Next Generation?
None.
I stopped after what was it, like the first or second episode?
That blows my mind because that's one of the rare knocked it out of the park premieres. Encounter at Fargate.
Well,
it's up there in the top episodes, period.
Which of you watched it from first airing? I watched Next Generation when it first aired.
I did watch it when it first aired, but I didn't pay attention. Like it was.
I paid attention
in my home.
I knew which ones were clunkers too. Picked that up very quickly.
I didn't pay attention besides the movies. I saw all the movies from. I've said this before, but from the whale one on up until I think
Voyage Home.
Whatever one comes after Next Generation. I mean, after Generations. What's that? First Contact? Nemesis? What comes after Generations? Movie wise.
After Generations is
First Contact.
Yeah, First Contact, and then
First Contact's the last one I saw in the theater.
I thought you said you didn't watch First Contact
in the theater when I was young. That's the only time I saw it, was in the theater. I don't remember it at all. I was a young boy.
Well, I mean, after First Contact, we get Insurrection, and then after Insurrection, we get Nemesis, and then that's the last of the Next Generation movies.
Right.
And then after that movie, that's when the Kelvin timeline movies begin. Yeah.
So I saw all of those from the Whale movie until the First Contact in the theater, but I didn't pay attention to any of the TV series until Voyager. Voyager season 1, I was hooked at first, but then I just never finished. Young man.
So speaking of Star Trek 4, I found this out.
Speaking of which,
it opened up the weekend after Thanksgiving. But here it says December 12th. But when they did previews of it, people really liked it, so they moved it up to the weekend before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, which was a big risk because if it didn't do well, they'd take it right out before Christmas came around. But it did well, and actually paved the way for Next Generation to be made. Kind of said, "Hey, the franchise is going somewhere still, so let's do this and
make more money
to all this stuff."
Okay, now
That's right.
I want to bring
But
some.
I
wanna
also
bring
started
something
noticing.
up. I wanted to bring
Okay.
something up about this article that you posted, Luc-John. The thing about the Starfleet Academy show that you posted.
Yes. Yes.
Tawny
Which I
Newson,
just put
that's
in
the
the
woman that
private
plays
chat.
Mariner on Lower Decks, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the woman that
And she was
plays
the one
Mariner.
that played the live action version. Yeah.
And she's also on the writers cast of Starfleet Academy TV
Yeah,
series.
but like she does the live action version of Mariner, and she
Writers
does the
room.
voice
Yes. Right.
of that character as well. But according to this article, it says that Starfleet Academy will appeal to Star Trek fans thanks to canon cops, and that's said with quotation marks. What the
Yeah, this is the
hell
story.
does
Yeah.
what the hell does that mean?
Well, it means exactly what it sounds like. People there making sure you don't fuck with the canon because they saw their listen. Season 1 of they're killing Discovery simply to sweep away season 1 and the mistake they made with those Klingons. It was a huge error. It just makes no fucking sense considering how
maybe.
how deep
Might
into
be
the
right.
lore
You
they
might be
go
right.
with the Klingons and how much
Look,
effort they took to maintain the language and shit. Like they really did go to efforts for the Klingons, but then let's not make them look like Klingons at all.
okay, but
If you squint, maybe they're a Klingon.
this is the thing that I have a problem with. It's like, look, I mean, it could like canon cops could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing if the quote unquote canon cops that they bring in don't know anything about the canon.
Well, then how could they be canon cops?
If they look at the canon with rose tinted glasses?
If
Well, no, then that's not a canon cop.
certain
That's
things,
content advisor.
I don't know. It's just I don't trust.
Made that
but
term
you
up.
can
It
always
sounds right.
break canon too if you're doing some sort of weird time travel thing or
Well, then you become
different
Kelvin,
dimension,
right?
different timeline.
Yeah, you become Kelvin. Yeah.
Actually, I just read another article. I forgot where it was, but talking about perhaps recasting the Next Generation, but for the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah,
Perhaps
that's what
the
they
next
claim to be doing.
Movie might mix the two casts.
Interesting.
Well, that could be why
That
anytime you
would be
speak to
interesting.
Chris
Who
Pine,
would play who?
you know, personally, when you call Chris Pine on the phone, anytime you speak to him,
Yep.
he'll say
Yep.
he's never heard anything about this movie. And all the cast, they keep saying no one's contacted us. Yeah, they're contracted. The studios keep saying the movie's in the works, but the cast has never spoken to a soul about anything. So
look, the last thing that I heard about Star Trek 4, of the Kelvin timeline, is that they were in talks to bring in the cast, and then when they were negotiating the money to be given to the actors, negotiations fell through with Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth, and they both left the project because those negotiations fell through.
what's Hemsworth have to do with it? Who's he play?
He plays George Kirk, James Kirk's father.
No need for that person.
Yeah.
No need for him.
No need for that.
Unless
Kirk.
they're doing flashbacks and stuff, but
Yeah, but no, it's just they were like the whole
yeah,
premise
so
of
you're
Star
right.
Trek
The canon
4
cop.
So I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you didn't. His internet is dumb.
No, go ahead. No.
Oh no, it's just what I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I think
was
it's
is
not good
that
today. I'll come right back. Hold on.
okay. The premise that I had heard about with Star Trek 4 is that there was supposed to be focusing on some kind of story where James Kirk was going to like reunite with his father, and they were going to go on some kind of adventure together, and that's what I heard.
Well, that doesn't sound the worst.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Like there was going to be some kind of temporal disturbance in that his father, George Kirk, was going to be pulled through that temporal disturbance, and James was going to be reunited with his father. And like by the end of the movie, George was going to accept his fate, and he was going to go back to where he was originally, and Kirk would have a new outlook.
Making Richard cry with a sad story.
I
Yeah,
can't.
he was going to have a new
bring me
outlook on
tears.
his memory of his father, and yeah, that was going to be the whole premise of the movie. I don't know what they were going to do with the Chekhov character. I had heard rumors that they were actually going to replace his character with the Jayla character that was introduced in Star Trek Beyond.
Okay, you mean another character? Because I heard they will not be recasting.
Yeah, I heard the same thing as well. I heard that they were going to use
which
Sophia
further
Boutel's
backs up.
character.
This is not a main cast story. This very well could be a next generation kind of story. Maybe the adventure was a time travel adventure with the Kirk and Kirk's pop. I mean, if it's supposed to be changing some fate that he's got to accept, already sounds like it's time travel.
Mm-hmm.
But they just did that with Picard and his father. You know, they did all these flashbacks. He thought his father was a monster, and you know, and
yeah. But the
proved
thing
that
is
really
that
his
that
mother
wasn't
was messed up. You know,
that wasn't actually his father that he was talking to. That was just a hallucination. He will, like in Star Trek 4, if they had actually done it, James Kirk would have ended up talking to his actual father.
According, they're still doing it. This is supposed to be like current news. They're still doing it, even though it's unspoken of.
Well, according to the actors, they haven't been approached.
Correct, but they're still doing it. They need to just give up on this fucking J.J. Abrams Star Trek, because Picard season 3 left the franchise in a fantastic place. Picard season 3, Discovery season 5 has a real chance because of where they are set in the future.
Mm-hmm.
They have left the lore, talk about loose threads, wide open for so much more great stories.
Yeah,
we need to continue.
You know what?
Everything from Picard, that Section 31
Is the
Operation Phoenix shit, the new ship, everything.
The Starfleet Academy show, that's going to be in the future?
Well, yeah, because Ensign Tilly's going to be in it. So that
oh yeah, we know
set.
Jim's going to love that.
She's
Tilly
growing every episode. I'm up to like episode 7 of season 1, episode 6 maybe.
She's a very big character.
Yeah, she
grows
every
so big
episode.
Like
she
she's
just
huge,
stands at
a
craft
huge
services.
character.
Well, you know why? Because it
She's
probably
a
takes
fucking
longer to shoot
fatso
those
trying to hide that
episodes.
mole.
The old shows, when they did 20-something episodes a season, you shot an episode per week, I believe. Now, these new episodes, who knows? Maybe they're taking, you know, 2 weeks to shoot it, and then the processing. Who knows if they're shooting them all right in a row? Maybe they're just, okay,
I think I heard something about 15 days is the new average production
2 weeks
schedule for a show.
So if you do that, and let's say, you know, 4 episodes later, that's 2 months. You know, the 5th episode you're shooting, it's been 2 months. So yeah, you can grow a lot in 2 months. But if there would be 8 episodes.
A lot of cheeseburgers and milkshakes.
So
how do you know that's what I've been doing?
Yeah,
I've been avoiding the turkey in my house and ate nothing but cheeseburgers and milkshakes.
Hey, we had beef stew for Thanksgiving this year. Delicious.
Oh yeah, I wish I'd made it.
I had a good
up
burger
to,
from Arby's. It was so good.
Leave it to beef stew to create dead air.
I was thinking about my
upstate New
burger
York.
feasting.
Ticonderoga there that has.
Where is it?
Jim. It's in Ticonderoga, which is
the
closer
Star
to
Trek
the
Museum.
Vermont border, I believe. And
yeah, the Star Trek Museum.
Bill Shatner was there last weekend and answering questions for people. It's like, damn, I wish I had thought about going. I think I did read about it a while back, but you know, just forgot about it. But
he doesn't look like Shatner anymore, but he still looks pretty good. Borg 9. Yuck, 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 yuck.
Yuck. No, he still
They
looks
just-
great. And now
Wow.
he's actually been to space, and that really changed him.
Guys, I can't find an answer to
he
this
saw
discovery.
He realized
Oh, I'm sorry.
what?
I'm saying.
What
I
are-
was
what are
just
you
saying I
trying to
haven't found an answer to the discovery, how long it takes to film an episode, but it's only 66 hours to watch all Star Trek ever. What? That's not right.
That can't be
Well-
right. 66 hours to watch
That's
every
like 66
series.
episodes. Maybe it's talking about one
No,
series.
They're talking-
66
yeah.
days.
Is that what it said?
That's a different story. But 66 hours, no way.
No,
Actually,
it says it'll take just
I kinda-
66
I went up-
hours.
An average episode.
34 days,
No, a lot of it.
34.9 days.
Yeah, 'cause an average episode in any series is like
837.5
45
hours.
minutes with commercials.
837 and a half.
And
That's
if you
the
go 7
films and
seasons times
everything.
20 episodes, you do the math. There's no
Wow.
way.
Yeah, I'm tired.
I know you're tired.
I was just reading what was on the
I
screen.
don't know how many hours it is
Oh.
to have that all the Borg episodes are, but I ended up watching like a bunch of them. I found a list, and
Great segue.
well, technically,
well,
7 of 9
masterful.
is in 100
Uh-huh.
episodes of Voyager. So if you're gonna watch all of her episodes, it's gonna take a while. But I found a list of the ones that were in Next Generation. Obviously, we'd already talked about the first episode of DS9 has Borg in it. Then there's the one episode at Enterprise. Voyager has a bunch not just because 7 of 9's on there, but they go through Borg space.
Wait.
All kinds of stuff happens with the Borg there. Even at one
You
point, they find a Borg ship that's just sitting there and not
Not lit.
operational.
Not
Where at
lit.
the
Alright,
same time,
So when you say that the Borg are in DS9, you're talking about the pilot
Chakotay.
episode, right?
They're
just
in
the
one
pilot
episode.
That's it. That just the one. We'd
They're
already
in-
kind of talked about that.
They're in 6 episodes, the Borg. This is kind of shocking. 6 episodes of Next Generation, 1 episode of Deep Space Nine, 1
Yeah.
episode of Enterprise, and 23 episodes of Voyager. So that show is
Yeah.
pretty
Yes.
pretty Borg heavy.
In the Delta Quadrant, they run into them
Yes,
quite
because-
a lot.
Yeah, because the Borg
Even like
are
here,
from
like
the Delta
Chakotay
Quadrant.
crash lands. He finds this chick here. Do you want to kiss it? Well, she's a human. chick.
judge me?
Do you wanna love it?
Ugh.
Oh wait,
Oh my God, she's bothered.
she's actually a Borg. She's a Borg that woke up afterwards, and they go into
I'll
a lot
fucking
of this
Borg, the
stuff
Borg, the
in
Borg.
Voyager
right.
about
They're all disconnected from the hive.
when. Yes, they get disconnected from the hive, and they start living their lives again. There's even an episode where 7 and 9 is on a small ship and crash lands on a planet with just, I think, 3 more Borg that live, and they all have to have a certain connection because they want to leave the Borg.
Right.
Once they
And
start
they're
getting
all-
the memories of them back, they're
They're
like,
all in each other's
"What the
heads.
fuck? Yeah, they can all
And
talk
7 of
to
9
each
is
other.
to
They-
blame for that.
They go through all kinds of stuff, but even like this,
Right.
this picture was in the beginning, where, what's her name? Kess has a vision of this stack of Borgs, and actually, once I looked on Twitter,
Looks
this
like the
popped
Game
up
of
pretty quickly.
Thrones.
That's how they actually made it, I guess. That
Oh,
one
that's from
part of
because
the
of
picture.
species 8472, right?
Yes, 8472, and the first episode with 8472 is where we first meet 7 of 9. She ends up on the ship haphazardly. I didn't realize that. She but then later on, the Queen says that she put her on Voyager to be a spy or whatever.
Yeah, suspend
And
your
actually,
disbelief a
7
little
of
bit
9
with that.
7 of 9 is a special character because a special Borg. She's not a regular drone because when they want to fly through Borg space and they want to negotiate, the Borg say, well, we want to talk to you, but we're going to put a node on you and you can talk to the collective. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Just let us talk to one Borg. Pick one as a representative. And then
Right.
this door opens and 7 of 9 comes out. So later on, when she talks to the Queen's like, well, you were special. And so I'm wondering if on every ship there is a certain Borg that is almost like the proxy queen. And if
Could
the
be.
real queen dies, perhaps all the information goes to the next in line.
Well,
Like,
every
maybe she's got-
beehive has a queen, don't it?
Yep, every beehive has a
Exactly.
queen.
So that's why
Served
we're seeing
by the
queens
drones.
die in certain spots. Like even the queen says to Picard, he's says you were there the whole time. That's what Picard look when he was Locutus, she was there the whole time. He's like, but that cube got destroyed, the ship got destroyed. She's like, you're thinking in such 2-3 dimensions. So yeah, the queen is like, her essence lives on inside the collective.
Right.
And I think if one gets destroyed, they can just drum one up somewhere else, and maybe in every single cube.
Right, but if 7 of 9 was so special, why wasn't she 1 of 9? Why was she 7 of 9?
Good one, Richard Kish. Do you
because-
know?
Because there is a designation if you're high, lower number up, 1, 2, 3, you're a higher designation than if you're 7 or 8 or 9.
Well, Vaughn
I have to change my
Armstrong,
name.
aka
I thought we had a
Admiral
6 of
Forrest.
9.
Yep.
Yeah, 6 of
6 of
9.
9.
You don't want to
Nice.
get into 6 of 9 because you missed one of the questions last week.
Question number 4. In the Star Trek Voyager episode, Timeless, what does Harry Kim attempt to do to prevent the disaster caused by the Borg transwarp conduit?
And I correctly answered that too.
You
I
did do
correctly
that
answered
one?
that one. Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
then you
communicates-
missed-
That was a lot
You
of-
guys
He
missed one of them, I
communicates. He
swear.
communicates to 7 of 9 through her optical her optical thing from the future, giving a set of commands that would cause them to overshoot and not be able to take and go into transwarp. They would basically just blow the cover off of it and then they'd be fine. And that's
Very, very good, Mr. Richard Kish. You saved the Starship Podrant, huh?
Yeah, and even though Harry
Great.
Kim saved the day,
Yes, he
he
did.
Yeah.
still did not get promoted.
No, he stayed an ensign. What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah.
Harry got fucked.
But-
Harry got fucked.
Yep.
You know what? You guys mentioned something the last time about Harry being not the real Harry.
Right.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that
He's not.
episode.
He's not
Yes,
the real
he's
Harry.
from a different.
Timeline.
They split. The Voyager split into 2 ships. One was out of phase with the other one, or something like that. And
Yep.
but also Naomi Wildman came from there, because on the ship that was gonna go, Naomi Wildman died.
The baby didn't survive.
So the other ship was going to be the one that survived. But then something happened and they said, no, we can't do that. So they gave the baby that was birthed to the other ship and said, well, we know that she died over there. So here, the whole ship's going to
It's
blow
almost-
up. So you take the
It's
baby.
almost
So-
like your clone taking over for you. If
Yeah,
you think about
yeah.
it. Because
It's
they
really
don't have your
strange.
memories. They have your DNA. They look like you. They kind of act like you, but they don't have your memories.
not like a Borg. Well, again,
Right.
I wore my zombie hunter shirt because
Hey, cool.
it's pretty much
shirt.
what Borg are, is zombies, right?
You're talking to the mic, genius.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah.
You heard that real good joke I did?
Yeah.
But what's
I heard you.
I
Funny.
told him to talking to the mic, genius.
Very funny.
There's also the episode where they you find out that there's like a spirit world that the Borg go to, or a dreamland, Uni Matrix 0.
Unimatrix
Where-
0, which 7 of 9 and somebody else, because she had known someone from some other existence, and they had met there in the past, supposedly. Because how else would they have met? They couldn't have met when they were drones. They had to have met there before. But 7 of 9 for some reason
because
didn't
they're all
remember.
drones. When they go into
Right.
their regeneration, there's a certain spot in their mind that can somehow go to this other place.
No, I
while they're
understand that,
regenerating.
but she had a love interest that she had met before that she didn't remember. So they must have met in Unimatrix 0 before, and 7 9
Yes.
just didn't remember.
yeah, because she couldn't remember.
Because how else would they have met? They
everything
wouldn't
that
have known each
happened-
other individually.
Yeah, she didn't remember anything that happened in Uni Matrix 0 when she was a drone. Now
Right,
that she
exactly,
wasn't a drone.
exactly.
It was like the opposite of when you when you stop becoming a drone, you remember everything. But then when you
Right.
start becoming a person, you don't remember hardly anything you did.
Right.
But maybe you do remember some of it, like ripping people's arms off and putting mechanical ones on them or something
Right.
like that. Maybe
And
you
all
do
the other
remember
drones that
shit.
were in and out of Uni Matrix Zero, when they went back to after sleep cycle, back to being drones, they didn't remember anything either. It was only when they went
No.
into a sleep cycle that they were, they would automatically get. I guess once you were recruited, you would come back every time because you wouldn't remember
yeah,
once you.
and this
what-
guy-
what-
I think this guy was in Uni Matrix Zero, right? It wasn't he? Oh wait, no,
No,
That
that's
man
oh,
is
wait.
in Terra Prime. He's the leader
Exactly.
of Terra Prime.
Peter Weller, that was
Oh,
great.
you're
That was
right.
great seeing him. He
That was
certainly
a
made the rounds on
fantastic
TV.
finale.
was.
The 2-part finale, Terra Prime. If you don't
Yeah.
like the, I can't believe Charles Whedon's complaint is the mirror universe.
He was a moon rebel, Peter Weller.
How could you want more of a mirror
Oh, and the
universe?
other
It's a
thing-
mirror universe. It's only supposed to be a hint unless you have a. It's not the mirror universe TV show.
The Mirror Universe?
There's
It's
TV.
a
something
regular
about that mirror
universe TV
universe, too, that-
show.
You had mentioned before Strange New Worlds, we had seen a Gorn right there in that.
Yes,
Right?
somebody had one in there. I saw a picture. Tried to take a picture of it. Wouldn't let me. Stupid Paramount. It blocked screenshotting. It was in a glass,
yeah.
right? It was in glass.
No. He fought it. The Gorn.
The fighting
the
of the
second
Gorn.
Mirror Darkly episode. Yes.
I was thinking of Discovery. There's a Gorn in like season 1 of Discovery early on. Somebody has it on display.
Yes.
A skeleton of it.
Yeah. It's
Harry
pickled
Mudd.
in a jar or something. Yeah. That's right.
I think it's Harry Mudd. Yeah, and
But again,
that episode at least. You're right. He fought a Gorn, and I actually liked that Gorn. I thought
Archer fought a Gorn.
enough. The effects and
Well, it
shit
looked a lot like the other
on
Gorn.
that show.
Yeah, they were fine. It was at the point where
Season 1
the
they were
effects
garbage.
pretty good. I can't remember as much. Sometimes it's also like, oh, it's so weird with Voyager. I feel like they've HD uploaded it or something. Like the movement seems different. It doesn't seem like it used to. It seems like it's a little smoother now than before. Maybe because I'm watching
You
it on
can
a
get
smaller
it
screen, I don't
properly.
know.
It's probably just how you're watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just threw a picture of Scott Bakula and the Gorn from that episode into the private chat.
Smooching.
That's close. They look intimate.
Oh,
Lady
all right,
Gorn.
so there was something
O'Brien on Hard Times. Would you make love to it? Would you have sex with the Lady Gorn?
would you have sex?
Would you
Yes,
let
and
it
then he would blow his head
put
off
its
with a
tail in
phaser.
you?
Would you let a gator swallow you up and spit you out?
Yeah.
There's something
I
that
am
we
not-
had asked, or we were.
I am not going to dignify that with a response.
There we go. There's
We
our
all
Charles.
know the answer, of course.
That's our
you
Charles.
Put it right in its blowhole.
Oh my
Ooh,
god.
okay.
We were
That's rude.
asking about the origin of the Borg, and I did find an article that talked about this. But this article is from it's like from 2020, so I think it was after the first season of Picard, where they were speculating, was it the Romulans that created the Borg, perhaps, and that's why they have this problem with AI. They really don't. It's against their culture to have AI completely. And so I'm thinking about how long ago the Vulcans and the Romulans split off.
Gesund.
It may have been a
Kabla.
little bit after that. And
So they had
Because
problems with
in the
AI,
first
but they had no
episode of
problems
Next
with cloaking
Generation-
devices.
Well, that's
yeah, you know,
tomatoes and
they're not
oranges,
letting
like a
them-
really bad song I heard once.
in the first episode where they Q where Q sends them into the Delta Quadrant and they find the
Right.
Borg, there is rumors of cities getting scooped up. And when they go to the Delta Quadrant, they find a planet like that. All the major cities have been scooped up, and then that's when they find the Borg. So
Yeah,
a-
that's
a-
very reminiscent of
neutral
the
zone.
episode Q's on first. Oh, I'm sorry.
Q's on
There was an
first.
overlap. You go on.
Q's
Q's on first, Borg's on second.
He's on second. Yeah.
Third base.
Yeah, I don't know. Worf's on third. I don't.
Worf's on third.
Moogie.
Hallie Kim is on. Oh no, the L's are ours. I got
Harry Kim
Go
is
on.
ensign again for life. Ensign for life. Harry
yeah,
ensign
so-
for life. Kim.
They never really admit to it though. Oh, the other reason that they thought maybe the Romulans did that because there is a ship that gets assimilated that's a Romulan ship in Picard season 1. And if you remember, those Romulans lost their mind. None of them, when they became assimilated, they all went crazy. So maybe there's some sort of something written in the code where you can't assimilate someone with this genetic signature. Like if it's
be.
Romulan, it's not going to work right for some reason.
So like
Maybe
the
that's why they're
Romulan elites created this Borg virus sort of endemic pandemic for the world, and they created a modifier that made it so they and theirs don't get this Borg infection.
Actually, the whole Borg
That sounds
storyline
silly.
has
Who would
to
do
with
something like
viruses.
that?
When it goes species what 8347 whatever, how do they beat them?
8477.
A microvirus. How with
It's
every point,
8675309. I was on mute.
at every point
That's why that
when
joke
they're
was
trying to
lonely.
do something against the
Yes.
Borg in Voyager, it's always let's synthesize this and let's inject them with that and let's do this to them. And I'm watching. I'm just watching these Borg episodes, and all I'm hearing about is virus, inject, infect. Like I'm like, oh my god! Like, did someone in the government watch this and go, "This is the way. This is how we got to do
I
it."
hear a lot about RNA and all this other such stuff too.
And Borg nanites.
Mm-hmm.
You know, speaking of Borgs and crazy theories, I've got a
in the
little
Matrix, right?
I've got a little crazy
Borg you too,
theory / Alpha Podrants exclusive fan fiction thought.
Yeah.
I wonder
Throw it.
how, if Dr. Phlox cured the Borg, is there never a cure for the Borg?
Yeah. Way back then.
Now, we don't know much about Phlox after he left the service after that speech, because, the Enterprise was decommissioned, and as we saw in Picard, it was put up around the Mars or the moon or something as Pluto, I think, as a museum piece. So that was the last time they worked together professionally. I'm sure they must have kept contact, but there's not too much information. That's not out of beta canon, at least. We never actually saw Trip die in that finale. He goes into a coma and into some sort of chamber. It's heavily implied that he died. There's no funeral, is there, if I recall?
No. That
There-
series
nobody-
fell apart at the end. That was the problem. The
Well-
showrunner said in an interview that they were burnt. They were completely burnt out by the end of that.
That is a fact. But
And
listen,
they just let it fly.
we're in a fictional world right now here.
Right.
That's let it fly. It's like just pooping into a fan. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what they did, though. They were burnt, so totally burnt.
Listen to me with my fiction story.
That's what I would
here.
say.
This is
Right.
my
Let it fly.
speculation here.
All right, speculate.
Jiminy
speculate.
crickets.
All right, all right.
So, my theory is based on these things, since we don't know what happened to Phlox after that finale, is that Trip wasn't dead. He went and took Trip, and he did something that he felt to be very unethical, used his knowledge of curing the Borg to recreate some sort of technology that Borged up Trip and saved him, which then connects him to a collective. Phlox then puts himself into self-exile because of what he has done. He feels it's unethical. That's why they never got the cure for the Borg, because Phlox self-exiled after resurrecting Trip, and it'll be something we didn't hear about, because here's the excellent part of my fan fiction. At the end of this wonderful story, Malcolm Reed gets a call from Section 31 about a new Borg character out there, and it's Trip. It's Trip,
It's
but he's also
Trip.
got a Borg. He's hearing
my
weird sounds,
God.
kind of like what's his face's son, Picard's son. Yeah, he's hearing
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah.
Borg weird stuff. It's Trip, but with that, like a different kind of Borg. He's still somehow connected. That's my fan fiction, wild speculation theory based on hard fact.
When's your book coming out?
Never.
That would be great if they could get Trip and Kirk in the Section 31 movie somehow.
In the Project Phoenix.
He's a little.
Maybe that's
older
another
now.
reason. Maybe Phlox went to work for Section 31.
Very possible.
Maybe.
He's like, once they debriefed him about that Borg thing, they said, "You're now our property. You need to
Him
come
and Reed
work with us."
After Trip's death, him and Reed were devastated, and Reed's like, "Yo, I work for this organization. You have this technology. The Enterprise is now a museum piece.
Right.
Let's go fucking. It's an experiment, but it's our friend. Let's try to bring him. Let's try to save him." And maybe that's how it goes.
Well, we
I
all
think this
really
is
know
more-
what happened to Trip after all this happened. He started a podcast with Malcolm.
It's fantastic. I watched
It's
3
not bad.
episodes
I've heard some
tonight.
of it.
It's fucking fantastic. Admiral Forrest, aka in real life Vaughn Armstrong, played 2 of 9, 7 of 9's older brother, and like 12 other characters in Star Trek.
Yeah, he did
before playing Forrest.
Exactly. He did a lot of. He played a lot of roles.
Played a bunch of characters on Enterprise that they didn't know about, but I highly suggest the first episode with Phlox himself. The second episode, I'm so ashamed that I didn't realize it. I'm staring at the guy, Gary Graham, who played Saval, Ambassador Saval.
Great. He was great.
And I always looked at Saval. Thankfully, for my credit, he's only in 11 episodes, spaced through 4 seasons, so I can understand how I didn't make the connection. It's fucking Matthew Sykes from Alien Nation, my favorite.
Yeah, you didn't know that
show.
You didn't know that? Oh, dopey!
I didn't
Even
know that.
knew
I didn't know that until
Yeah.
watching the fucking
Of
Shuttle Pod
course that
show.
was him.
Such a good show, so funny and enjoyable. Also, weird fact: Vaughn Armstrong and Gary Graham, not together, have Star Trek bands, like their own separate
Really?
bands
that's
that
kinda
play
cool.
Star Trek themed songs.
Hey, Vaughn Armstrong
What?
saved his life.
Oh my
He
God.
took a bullet for him in that episode.
Wow.
Who, Saval? Oh, in the
Yes,
end, yeah.
yeah. Vaughn Armstrong. Like I said, the character gets
More
killed off.
interesting now.
Oh, it's very cool. They have bands though.
I
That's
can't
kind of
believe
cool.
that.
By
Now I just want to
interesting,
start
I
a Star
mean,
Trek band.
Easy with that.
let's do that. Let's call ourselves the Space Cateers.
The Space Cateer.
You could do
GPL. Space Brigade.
do some Klingon opera, perhaps. Oh, das ist von dying.
If you listen to Discovery, every word sounds like ka 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 mu ka 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 o ka 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 o ka ka ka.
It legitimately sounds like that they changed
Klingon,
Klingon
kaka.
language.
Sounds like a lot of cock talk to me.
It sounds like they
what
changed
is
the
it?
Klingon language.
I've read they went more true with it.
Really?
Oh, there's a there's a there's one of those pills that's called Rinvoq, and every time I hear Rinvoq,
Yep.
I go Vogue. I
Is this
am
one of
the
your
light
Viagra
bringer.
pills, you weirdos?
Vogue. But that's the name of the white
Rinvoq.
Klingon in that. Vogue.
The albino Klingon.
Albino.
Yeah, he's albino. You're right. He's not white.
The albino
He is.
Klingon.
That gets his skin shaved down. Well, never mind. If you're ever gonna watch, I don't want to.
I'm sorry to be this guy. Have you shown, because I forget, have you shown these pictures Richard Kish has been sharing?
No, I didn't, because
My apologies for interrupting and for him being a jerk. Look, here we were just
Me?
talking about the
I'm not
Gorn.
being a jerk.
No,
You're
not
being a
you,
jerk.
him. This dork.
Oh.
it makes my
No,
computer
not
go
you,
weird.
jerk. This jerk.
Dorko McDorkly. Dorky Dorko.
Oh well,
Picture
the
of the
Miles was
Gorn
for,
right here.
You know, Charles, but
I thought it was a decent enough Gorn.
I gotta say, I like the Gorn from
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds more.
It's a bit more sinister looking from Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
It's almost
Evil.
than the Klingon thing, though.
In fact, for me, the little ones are even scarier because they just you don't see them. They and they'll
Yeah.
polish you off. The little tiny ones will take and polish you off.
And
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
we've only seen little ones. Have the full-grown Gorns been shown on Strange New World yet?
Are you not caught up yet?
Yeah.
I am. I forget. Do you not see how much fucking space weed I smoke in this
Charles
program?
challenging Jim.
Remember Spock fought one in 0G.
Yeah. Spock fought one in 0G and got a Gorn tail wrapped around his neck.
Yeah, if Trip fought a
Yeah,
Gorn,
almost.
he got
that was
pregnant.
that was in a film,
vice
right?
versa.
That wasn't in the series.
No, that was in
No,
the
that was
series.
in-
that was in Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, young Spock fought one. Okay.
Yeah. That was
Yes,
what's his
yeah.
name?
I
Ethan
bet
Peck.
he
Ethan
fought
Peck.
it in slow
Yeah.
motion or in low gravity, right?
Yeah, is it not low
Yes,
gravity?
yes.
Full blown 0G.
I liked the concept. I liked a little bit of what they did, but I just didn't love it overall, the fight. And I thought it was just meh.
I thought the fight was awesome.
Yeah, I know you did. I remember, and you were wrong. Just like you're wrong about Enterprise,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
greatest
so you
show.
remember that.
period.
But you don't actually remember the fight. Okay.
Correct. Because I lived one thing, and the other thing I just watched on TV while scratching my balls and thinking about other things.
Okay then.
I'm usually imagining stupid stories like a dork.
Well, I know what that's like.
That's when you have a brain that works in that direction, a good thing or a really bad thing, you can watch it or listen to it, and it'll just take you to another space. It's hard to enjoy good stuff, but that's the benefit of bad stuff, which is why I like a lot of bad things, because then you're not missing anything. You know what I mean? But it also still sparks that same creative fire.
Mhm.
I never even considered that, like rewriting something bad in your head as you're watching it. How could I make this better? You know,
Or not just that, extrapolating
Actually,
on going and branching off, just jumping off concepts you're picking up in these things. Or
Oh, there you go.
yeah, I didn't like that.
Right,
I don't
in
like the way
space
this
suit.
looks. This is too much in the level of the Klingon shit. This ain't Geiger, man. It ain't the Alien franchise, man.
Yeah, it
Enough of
definitely
this
has that
shit,
Geiger look.
man.
Absolutely has that Geiger look about it.
But I could see that being a Gorn inside of there.
Yeah.
I could the Gorn Archer was just fighting in this picture behind that picture. Like, here, remove that suit real quick. Boom. I could see that being that Gorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still don't like it.
for definite, man.
That's definitely a Captain
Oh,
Proton.
and they also had in that mirror episode, yeah, they had one of those Phlox was great in that, I thought. He was so dark and just torturing everybody.
Oh,
And
yeah,
There
he
was
was-
that creature, I forgot what it was, but it was made out of like lava or whatever, or no.
That
they turned
wasn't
it hot,
that
so it
the
exploded.
Thelonian?
You mean
Yeah, something
Tholian?
like
The
Tholian.
Tholian.
Tholians, whatever. Tholians.
Yeah,
I was close enough.
That was
Give me some
pretty
credit there.
Neat looking. Like a
ones with-
scorpion looking.
The ones
Which,
with the high pitched,
the name of the
obnoxious
episode,
voices.
The name of the episode with 749-837-549, whatever.
8472. Jeez.
It's called
You
Scorpion.
call yourself a
They
Star
look
Trek
a little
fan?
like-
Man.
Well, the pothead too. Too much of a fan of the space weed, right?
That's okay. That's okay. Space weed's good for you. Dead silence.
Borg. Sounds Swedish.
Yeah, by pressing the communicator. Son.
You pressed your communicator, and that's what you found.
NovemBorg, you betcha.
Other,
It's pretty neat. Charles
So,
Whedon.
yeah, I mean,
I don't know who that
I
guy
really
is,
started.
but this other guy fixed it for me. Hold on. Look what else it does. Watch this.
Yeah, very much.
Started to really, because I was watching so many of these Borg episodes in a row, I started to really equate it with so many things, like the Dabble Borg verse. That's a bunch. It feels like a. It
That's
seems like a
painful.
collective that once you get in, it's hard to pull out. It's hard to get away.
You
from
know who
it,
should have pulled
especially if you
out?
start doing
Their
shows about
fathers
it.
from their mother's cunts.
That's right.
All of them.
That's right, Jim. Jim, this guy gets it.
Or why their mother should have swallowed them, which was the name
Exactly.
of the last.
Yeah, and nobody liked
Night
that
Creeps
title.
episode.
Nobody got that title. Nobody liked it.
I
Best part of you went down
You
your
know-
mother's throat. Is that where that old saying came from?
Which
I
now
don't know,
that
but I was
that-
very
that
excited
episode
coming here
has
today
passed
to
the-
not. No, I won't hear about the Faggleverse, and now here we are.
When in doubt, look to Miles O'Brien.
Sorry.
Fuck you. Jim.
That's what I feel like doing because I don't want to become one of those drones who just drones on and on about the same old bullshit. I mean, we're talking.
Is that
about
why they call
Star
them
Trek a lot,
drones?
but- which we do want to start doing a little bit more with this show, and we'll talk about that.
Want
some
to?
other time,
It's
but
happening.
we,
It should be announced right now because
It's happening.
it should be happening.
Okay, go
or
ahead.
it should be like
Well,
something's
No-
happening because
no
this
better
that should
time than the
happen.
president. Announce it then. It's news
No.
to me too.
Go ahead.
No.
Tell me.
Well, you'll find out after.
I know
If
you
you
have
were
it
in the
formulated.
Telegram, old man, you'd know already.
Hey, that's
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah,
I'd have been able to
How
invite
many-
you to something even more exciting coming next.
all right. That'll be
Tell
my
you about it after the show,
franchise-
right before I go to sleep.
that'll be my goal tonight. I will get the telegram going.
You really should.
at least
Otherwise, you
have-
can't talk to O'Brien on hard times. I'm sorry there,
Okay.
Captain Luc-John.
Oh. O'Brien happens to be one of the subjects that we may go over in these shows. You said there were 38 main characters before what?
Discovery. Before
Discovery?
Discovery, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 38 or... Yeah, 38.
Not only are there main characters, there are different series, there are different species, there are all kinds of things to discuss. And this is kind of almost birthed out of the fact that we did do a Spocktober and a NovemBorg.
Yeah, sure. Just
sort
try
of-
to figure out your
we
way to
didn't
take
go
the credit.
super
All right,
specific.
we get
Can
it.
I-
You're
can I-
the Alpha
Well,
Podrants
well,
inventor.
Luke,
Can
what's coming
I-
next month though? Is my question.
Can I spitball something here?
The great idea that I came up with is what's coming next
Go
month.
ahead.
To go
Can I
official, and that's all I can
spitball
say.
something
Spit
Let
away,
this guy
Charles.
talk.
Yeah.
What is it?
December.
Don't dead name him, Richard.
Decemberman.
Descend Berman.
What the fuck is that?
Why would you glorify Berman?
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
that misogynistic piece of shit.
December.
Why would
I
you
know.
take
I
him?
know. It's
I
just,
don't know. Well,
it's the only thing that fits with December. So yeah, just
December, we're
we
dead.
can have a whole crying episode.
Isn't that
December,
the
we're dead.
announcement? Is that December we are dead minus a Christmas episode because I have to send you guys all Christmas presents
Yeah.
related. None of the guests because nobody signed up for this glorious program. Little
Although-
jerks.
Although let me just say, Berman, as in Rick Berman, the guy from Star Trek. Yeah, that
Yep.
guy is a piece of shit.
Oh, he's a.
All right, O'Brien and Hard Times. We're
He
trying to do
killed
an
Dax.
important-
He killed Dax. God damn it!
Yeah, I will.
Thanks a lot, Richard Kish. I'm not there yet. Idiot. So we're going to not be here for December. Isn't that what we we decided upon in Telegram that we are going to take December to work on a first batch of an official version of Alpha Podrants, an actual podcast, audio only, that's going to be very specific with each episode, and it's going to be something we can refer to on these episodes. The reason we'll take a month off is so that we can come back and do these live ones in January or at Christmas while releasing the batch of ones we did and also producing stuff to come. It'll give us that buffer. Bing, bong, boom. So,
Also-
Alpha Pod Rants, the official podcast, coming soon to Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else you get your podcasts from.
And there may also be some sort of adventures coming as well. That's all I'll say.
Oh, there's adventures out the butt. I gotta tell you, coming soon. What are your adventures? I want to know. We could let's just
What?
end the show already so we can talk about this stuff.
Alpha
sounds like
Podrants based adventures. You just wait, people. It's coming. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be glorious. And
Oh,
we're
I
all gonna
can't
take
wait.
part in it.
I can't wait.
All gonna take part in it.
Yeah, I already tried
gonna
this
be
once, and
wonderful.
then
But-
he put himself in a mental asylum, Starfleet Mental Academy. Last time I tried to do some Alpha Pod Rants adventures, you went to the nut house, is what I said, is what?
There
to
was a
hold
lot
my
of things
tongue.
happening. Like every once in a while, I need to take some time off. That's why we're taking December off, right? Yep, that's exactly
Yeah,
why.
yeah. That's why.
Mhm. Yeah, that's why. All right. So, anything else we want to know about the Borg? We'll probably have an episode about the Borg specifically, but
You could do
'cause,
Decemborg,
man,
but that would be that'd be repetitive.
or we could
They
do
come
it
up with something
forever. Januborg, I don't care. It doesn't have to fit. I would talk about the Borg forever.
Oh yeah, that'd
Although-
be funny. Decemberborg, January Borg, February Borg, February
March
February
like a Borg. Actually, I did notice towards the end, when they get to the little kids, there's the little kids in Voyager that are it's only like 4 or 5 of them that are alive. The drones, all the adult drones aren't working. They actually say resistance is futile instead of futile. I don't know where futile came from, but I believe it might have came from Doctor Who, because the Daleks say that, and futile is more of a British pronunciation of the word, especially from the 60s. Resistance is futile. That's exactly, and I didn't know about the Daleks and Doctor Who very much when I was younger. So when I was older and I started watching the new Doctor Who,
Aren't they called the
when they
Dalek?
first said
The
Dalek, yeah. When they said,
well, it matters.
resistance
One of us is right. One of us is
futile.
wrong.
Hey Charles, I actually
couldn't believe
just
it. Oh, jeez.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
I actually
sorry.
came up with something for next month.
Okay.
Daxember.
Uh-oh.
Daxember.
Oh,
I like that.
That's
I
not
like
bad.
that a
so
lot.
is it just dedicated to all of Star Trek's sexiest moments?
You can
And
whatever.
she just gets the
It was the
title
first thing that
there.
came to
Could
mind.
use
It
her.
it sounded all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what you need to
Daxember,
warm
I
you
like
up
that.
on the cold December night. You need some sexy
Yeah, there you
go.
talk.
So you guys work on that.
Please. You guys were wrong. I
Oh,
was
you know,
waiting
well,
to get all sex crazed on the
hold on,
last
guys.
2
Here we
seasons
go.
of
There we go.
Aw.
All right.
Enterprise. There was
That's
not a lot of
sweet.
sexiness. What were you guys
Yeah.
talking about?
There's
You guys
Dax.
made
Yeah,
stuff
all
up.
sex- Yeah.
See, that's
Dax,
a spoiler
Dax,
there. You know,
woohoo.
Dax has that little kiss there. Yeah, there we go. Data's happy.
Shut up. I didn't even know that's Dax.
Actually, well, that's
you
not Data.
idiot.
That's lore.
You know that's Dax. You know who Dax is.
This is that.
It gives away nothing.
That's lore taking Geordi's little
Oh, that was-
visor,
oh,
because
that's right.
when
That's
he was in charge of the Borg.
Because Data wouldn't
that.
smile.
That was
You're
one
right.
of my favorite Next Generation episodes, where the cube that had Hugh on it and got the virus of
Hugh.
being an individual has Lore fly into it after they all become confused, and he takes control. And that, to me, that's just a really great example of man, such good acting by, and now I forgot his name, the guy that plays Data there, because he just, that particular episode had the emotion chip for Data, although the Borg were giving a little bit of emotion. And then I noticed last week we had talked about the Elorians and how they were being evacuated from being attacked by the Borg during the movie Generations, right? And in Generations, that's also has a lot to do with Data's chip, you know? So it's like these certain threads kind of stick together all the time. Like Picard got turned into Locutus, and then right after he got his implants out, he went back to very cute one, very very fit.
And that jumper, I guess you're right. I'm sorry. Go on.
He went back to his farm, or to the vineyard. Right after that, he decided he wanted to connect with his family. But in the Picard show, the Borg end up back at his vineyard, right? That's where they have a standoff with the Borg. So it's just interesting, little certain threads they keep together like that. And if you don't really notice it unless you watch these shows back to back and know, oh wow, they're talking about the same things and the same kind of thing happens. It's just, the cyclical nature of things, I guess you'd say.
Oh,
Yeah,
And I find it
do
interesting
believe
how the
you're right with the cyclical nature, which again is why I decided to go from Enterprise to Discovery, being that's what they did next. And I noticed things like that theme song, the opening credits are super similar to Enterprise's opening credits. They both have like those compassy lines going around, like the aesthetic of it and the evolution of the technology. Except one has a way more Star Trek-y song. The other has just a damn catchy, excellent song.
been a long road
Getting from there to here. It's been a long time.
The
Uh-oh.
time is
Charles is gonna have a
finally
fit.
here.
Like,
Gonna
yeah, he doesn't want to
He's
hear
loving
it.
I could touch the
Hey, we could also
I feel like Miles O'Brien at the moment. Only I'm setting
On hard times.
he's singing for kill.
I'm setting the phaser setting to vaporize, and I'm about to press the button.
No, we're not
Gonna
going to
shoot
stop
himself.
you.
Although I was just thinking too, when I got this list of Borg episodes and started watching them, it's actually, I feel like it's a good way to watch the show if you don't want to sit and watch the whole series straight through. Like with Charles, if you just watch the Borg episodes of Next Generation, you get a whole different outlook on or not whole different, but it adds to First Contact, because First Contact, the whole beginning of it has him getting changed in Locutus. He's still thinking about it years and years later. And there might be a time discrepancy too, because Wolf 359 happens, and then it happens about a year and a half roughly after they first meet the Borg. And then when you go to Voyager, you find out that Seven of Nine's parents were following the Borg. And then she gets assimilated because they get too close, whatever. And she's 6 years old when that happens. So then you go a little bit further when they meet, when they find the Borg cube that's floating, and they're those people that are part Borg, that are changing out of Borg, these people. They say that Wolf 359 happened 5 years ago. And then a season and a half later is when we get 7 of 9. So if Wolf 359 happened 5 years prior, when were her parents following the Borg? How did they even know about the Borg? Because I don't think, when
you're talking
I
about the Borg.
I have an answer for that.
Okay.
I remember
a canon
that,
answer or something you made up, like a canon answer.
It's a canon answer. In the episode,
Charles has cancer. Go on.
No, I don't. Jesus Christ. But no, in that episode where we get 7 of 9's backstory on what happened to her and her parents, we find out that when they encounter the Borg, they don't actually know what they're following.
Exactly.
They don't know that they're following the Borg. All they know is that they are following a signal that leads to an alien race that they want to meet and study, but they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And when they catch up to that alien species, they realize what it is, and the Borg find out about them. They take a hold of their ship. They assimilate both of 7 of 9's parents
and 7 of 9.
And they assimilate Annika or 7 of 9. That's how they become part of the collective.
Yeah, her parents were scientists. They were doing research. They were observing. They were able to take and go onto the ship.
Yeah.
They cloaked themselves somehow, and they were able to take and go onto the ship. And they learned initially that if they weren't important enough to be noticed, the drones didn't notice them at all. So they got away with it for a while, but eventually they got screwed, obviously.
Yeah. But initially
they had a dampener.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
They had a dampener for their vital signs. It made it so that it didn't look like they were anything, and the Borg
exactly
couldn't sense them, which is interesting about the Borg, because like when Janeway uses the EMH to figure out how to beat species 9875 whatever 3
8,
5 no, what's
4,
that? 8 4 7
7.
2?
8472.
See, I got it right
Idiot.
that time. I did get it right.
I'm sending you a Christmas card. I'm going to write 8472 on the card so you remember.
So when they find out about that species, the Borg can't beat them, but the Doctor does find that there is a way to beat them biochemically, or making basically microbots that attack their
Nanopros.
that make it so their immune system's messed up. And anyway, because they have organic ships, and when you blow up a thing with these microbots on it, it kills them and stuff. But the Borg, because the only way that they get information is by assimilating, they can't investigate and figure out how to beat them, and they can't assimilate them, so they don't know anything. They can't find anything out about them. So there is something bad about being a Borg, where if you can only ingest information a certain way, just like, I don't know, the news cycle, or mainstream media. I don't mean to turn it like this, but it all depends on what their sources say, and what they can say, and what they should say, and things like that. So it's not necessarily all the facts and all the information. It's just kind of what they've read into a little bit, like the Borg. They can't necessarily
That is an
think
excellent
on their
point.
own, just like all these fucking Dabbleverse people who can't think on their own and just
Shut
decide
up!
with the people, because that's
Dabbleverse,
all that they know how to do.
I'll fucking
Anyway.
Stabbleverse you jerk. Shut up!
Who cares about the Dabbleverse?
You went from a great point,
But
to just taking it to the gutter.
well, that's what I do. That's what I always do. And I
Can't
think this
take the
show's
ghetto
going
out of a
into
hoe,
the gutter now. So
but
maybe
you
we
can,
should we should cut our losses now, and we'll be back. But we're gonna be in a different form, making some different shows, and we will have. a
Are we
Christmas
though? Will
episode.
this show remain the same and just carry on as it do? And this other thing is just a totally different thing.
They may merge. We'll see.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens. They may
We'll
assimilate.
have to find
each
out in
other,
December.
and they'll go ass to ass with each other with Dax. Okay.
And this
So,
is your last
speaking of
chance,
that-
donkeys. You all send your address to @Luke of the Bind on Twitter. Then he'll send it to me @SteamPoweredMan on Twitter.
Yeah, we
Both
both need your address. We're gonna share with each
You
other. anyway.
DM us your address, your physical home address, and you will be sent an Alpha Podrants Christmas present. It will come. It is real, and we will not dox you. So this is your last chance.
do that.
Send it in. You have the month. You have up until like, I don't know, 15 days before Christmas. We want to get it to you by Christmas. So December 15th or 10th or 12th. December 13th is your deadline, bitches.
Yeah, Jim will send you a
How about
present and a small bomb.
Doxember?
Send your home
Dax,
addresses
Dox. Watch out.
during December, and
City,
you
state,
will
and
get
zip
a
code,
special
please.
present.
December.
All right, everyone. This was a nice NovemBorg, I guess.
Our
and
last
we'll see you
November.
around, yes, make sure you scissor each other well. With
Oh,
fucking
but
scissor
together.
and keep it together.
Bye.
And we'll see you soon. Thank you,
Happy
O'Brien.
holidays.
Great job. Later.